Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another stream. We've been cutting it a little bit close tonight. David's had some...
Windows updates are not my friend.
David running a Windows update at the 11th hour. A little bit close. Oh, Christ, now my dog's barking. What's she barking at? Right,
Which one, though?
There's
Bertie or
Florence.
Florence?
She's in the kitchen, barking at something. I don't know what.
Where's the sign?
Oh, down here.
Let's move shit.
I forgot to go and get my battery pack, and the cable kept snagging in my chair, so I was like, I took that fucker down. So yeah, good evening. Let's give a shout out to everybody who's in the chat at the moment. I apologise if I'm a bit subdued. Feeling really rough at the moment, mental health stuff. So just as I say, the energy might be a little bit low. So
I'll make up for it.
We've got Upwelder, Cheese Me, Darren, also known as Demon Sub. Check him out on Instagram. We've got Shakos and Spruce. Good to see you at the other not salute partisan Shakos. We got Shark. Hello, Shark. We've got. And that's it, I think. Everybody else accounted for. Good evening to you all.
You just taken the register like some sort of fucking teacher.
And hello, Spam. Spam at the bottom there. David's other half.
And Crispin.
Hello, Crispin.
Just rocked in as well.
So yeah, good evening to one. Good evening to all. Let's start getting some of this shit ready here. So yeah, over the next couple of hours, we'll probably just follow our normal format. David and I will be doing some hobby. I'm hoping to be doing some painting.
Are you feeling okay?
I always make that plan and then never do shit. So watch this all unravel. And then we'll be talking about what we're planning to do tonight, and then we'll talk a little bit about our gaming club, which we did on Monday, and we do every Monday.
A little bit of a talk about the other partisan as well.
Yeah, we'll probably discuss that in the news section. Do you reckon, mate? So after we've talked about club, because there isn't really much else I want to talk about on the internet. I haven't uploaded a ton of the photos, so there won't be a lot to show off, but we can discuss it, albeit briefly. So, oh, well done, Crispin. Crispin got promoted. Chief. Oh dear. First lesson of being on our stream. Read ahead in the chat. Just to see if you're being baited with a trap.
It's a trap.
Is it definitely? Fucking hell. Hello, Chris. Good to see you, sir. So, mate, do you want to go first with what you're working on?
No.
Okay, I'll go first then.
You go first, because if I can go and then I can tell the boys and girls at home the epiphany I've had this week.
Okay, that's cool. You can make an event of it.
I've worked on.
First of all, we got these painted. I'm not sure. The metallic didn't work fantastically. I have applied a blue wash over the top of it, but it really didn't work as a metallic. Anyway, I may go back and try another coat, but not.
Boom, boom! I see what you did there.
Not super impressed, Turbo Dork. This doesn't really work and doesn't do a shitload. Certainly not following as per the advice on the website, which was to apply it over a blue. I imagine if it's applied over a gloss black or something, it'll probably work quite well. But applying it over an actual tone colour doesn't really work, because it hasn't even given the jacket any shimmer. Well, I suppose it has. It's just about barely visible with the naked eye, but it's not a huge effect. What's going on in the chat? Pro Acryl, do you know what, Shark? I probably should. You've got a Pro Acryl, haven't you, mate? One or two?
I have multiple Pro Acryls. They're fucking amazing.
So, the first job that I want to do tonight, I'm 90% with these. I just want to do some Nuln Oil on the legs and the base to just add a little bit of shadow to this. And then dry brush this grey, black paint the edges, bang, we're done. So, if I get them finished, I will then be digging into my little box of tricks here, and we'll probably be doing something else. So we'll see if we get that far. But we've got Tubby guy with shotgun, guy with chains around his wrists. We'll find somebody to play. Court of Owls dude. So that's what I'm planning on doing anyway, mate. Basically just slopping some Nuln Oil about.
We don't talk about your fucking paint rack, because that was a cunt.
What's this? Spam not doing... I saw the ranty message at Club on Monday night. I take it you didn't have much more joy then?
No, I didn't have a lot more joy myself when I went over and did it on Tuesday. I was swearing and dropping shit everywhere. It wasn't ideal. But hey, shall we come down to my desk cam, boys and girls?
Yeah, do it. Let's do it.
So, last week, boys and girls at home, I was building a crematorium from War Cradle. And we are unfortunately still building the crematorium because that's the level of detail we have inside, boys and girls.
That's pretty cool. I like those pipes.
It's insane. So I've got all outdoor decorations and shit to put on tonight. Some extra plugins for here, and fucking everywhere. But,
jeez me, paint rack is a knut. I see what you did there.
It's glued within an inch of its life. At least it's not coming apart, babe. Just saying.
You should have had you should have sent us a photo of it looking all sort of like rickety and Heath Robinson.
I've got it in a minute. I'll send it to you on Discord.
Oh.
We have been to Partisan this week. I have bought a Sarissa windmill. You will notice that there is no Sarissa windmill in the sprues. Boys and girls, get yourself some emulsion paint. Paint the fucker while it's on the sprue. You will have a whale of a time. Because that's 2 hours work, boys and girls, including painting. My desk's a shithole. I've just realised.
Did you? That. So obviously you painted the faces of the sprues with your, what is it? Just like it's a home tester pot.
Yeah, home emulsion tester pot.
Okay, cool.
Toasted beige from Johnston's. Then I've gone round some of the edges when I did this yesterday.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
Tonight, I haven't done the edges on yet.
Okay, so you've done some of the edge work, but not all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And you definitely felt that it would be easier and better to do after assembly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Because it allows me to just do where I need to do.
Okay, without try-harding it too much and doing everything.
Yeah.
What about, so obviously you've got your base coat on there. What's your next step with painting?
I'm going to wash it all down with probably like a thin brown oil wash.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just dry brush it the same colour.
Okay. You're not going to do your windmill veins different colour or?
I don't know whether I will or not because they're a bit flat. I might do them a different colour, but that might be a bit try hard.
Okay.
Considering I need to get on with stuff.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I think the less you can do on terrain and still make it work, the better things are.
I'm taking you out of the holder, boys and girls. We're going on a trip.
Oh my god. Seasickness.
So, I may have done a thing this week, and I may have purchased a Saturn 4 Ultra. And it may be the best thing that I have ever done. I've got my other FPM printer going as well tonight. But set up, piece of piss on it, quality coming out of it, bearing in mind no anti-aliasing or anything else. Let me just turn the lights down so it's not quite as bright. Focus. Agnes Baker, boys and girls. Salute Studios, Call of Cthulhu stuff. This is Paul's birthday present. It's late, but it's getting there.
Who's that? Flipping the archaeologist guy.
Looks like fucking Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's it'll come to me. Yeah, it is the archaeologist.
William Yorick.
Will Yorick, gravedigger.
Yep, with his spade. So that's what I've mainly been doing this week, sorting out a printer. Fallout Wasteland Warfare terrain possibly could be used for Wasteland Warfare. Actually, I hadn't thought about it. If I go a little bit sparing, I'm done with my camera now, mate.
Oh, well, that windmill, that's a good shout.
Yeah, that's what I was just...
Yeah, that is a good shout. Because I think you're initially, you were doing it for your Wild West table, yeah?
Yeah, I was doing it for Wild West Exodus. I was. I don't even want to know where Cheese Me's going with that comment. Like, fucking Jesus, boy.
I have some... What? Hang on a minute. I'm going to read that sentence again, Shark. I have some new Kim Kardashian short stack goblin strumpets to paint up. What?
So yeah, significantly better than my original Anycubic Photon I had. Same print that I did for Paul earlier in the year that was 9 hours to do like 2 minis, 2.25. So significantly better print time.
That's more like it.
But then the print, the original is about at this point 5-6 years old at least.
Darren says he still thinks of Deep Space Nine. What? Kim Kardashian. Evening, JJ. Christ knows what we're talking about in chat.
We've gone down a rabbit hole.
Kim Kardashian, goblin prostitutes, and Deep Space Nine. I'm afraid it's all a bit fucking...
Next, we'll be talking about fucking...
Cheese me, I'm glad you know, because I wouldn't have a bloody clue. Oh, okay, anyway. Right. I obviously, I'm 52 years old. I don't know who Kim Kardashian is from a fucking hole in the ground, so that wouldn't make any sense to me, but I get it. Okay. So yeah. So you're impressed with your new Saturn 4 Ultra then, boyo?
Yes, I am really impressed with my Saturn 4 Ultra. Print time is amazing. Has some really nice features on it that I've been wanting for ages. So resin calibration, the fact that the bed tilts to reduce your peel forces, it's awesome.
Now, you were telling me at club...
There is some downsides that come with it, though. So it is auto leveling, and I mean that in the loosest sense of the word. All it does is force the bed down into the screen, and it's spring loaded. A lot of manufacturers are doing that and call it now auto leveling. But Elegoo, take a leaf out of Anycubic's book for fuck's sake, please. The Saturn 4 Ultra has like a 2-bed system. So the bottom's the spring-loaded bit and then the upper's separate. Because the spring-loaded bit goes down in the resin, you end up with a shit ton of resin between these 2 layers that you can't scrape out or clean. Anycubic spring-loaded the screen so that they didn't have that problem.
Right, so the screen moves relative to the plate, not the other way round.
Yes. But Elegoo probably couldn't do that because, again, they have tilty VAT mechanism.
Yeah, they're already doing something with the base of the machine, aren't they?
Yeah, they're already doing something with the screen. So it swings and roundabouts. I mean, I'm happy with it. It was a decent price, and it is still on at a decent price for those that are interested in ones and zeros. And genuinely, setup on it has been relatively plug and play. It took me 15 minutes to get it out of the box and powered on. That's all it took.
And you said to me on Monday that you can't. Chris has asked how much it was.
$3.59. Bear with me. Let me go see what the receipt says. Fuck's sake, man. Elegoo. Do you want to give me what my details are? View your order. There we go. $354.99.
So you were pretty close. $3.55 basically. Yeah, you were saying that you aren't able to, because you used to do a lot of file cleanup, didn't you? Locating islands, cleaning up errors in your...
Yes.
But that's now not possible?
Yeah, so because of the latest Qi2 format for wireless transfer for slicing, I can't do island checking anymore, and I'm a little bit triggered because Qi2 do island checking, and the two nice prints that I've done for Paul for what's it called? Arkham Horror.
Yeah.
Were riddled with islands. One had 94, one had 57.
Yeah.
And I'm very conscious of islands fucking up FEPs, but this printer does have sensors for stopping overloading on the screen, etc., and damaging, apparently. We'll see about that. But more the point with it is I can't check them for islands anymore because of the file setup. So I'm just having to wing it. And I feel a little dirty for doing so.
So for somebody like me who's a complete ignoramus with this 3D printing shit, the islands create basically loose pieces of resin that are then basically not attached to the miniature and drift around in your tank.
Basically, the long and short of it is those islands will typically stay attached to the plastic FEP film that sits at the bottom of the tank.
Right.
What will then happen is the next time you print, your printer bed will come down and force that hardened, cured plastic into the flexible plastic at the bottom of the tank. And there is a risk you can pierce your FEP and then all of the resin in the tank can piss all over your printer.
Do they also create potential shadows or blind spots so
Yes,
you get
they
error propagation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but you haven't noticed an increase in errors and that just from...
Oh, no, I haven't noticed anything yet. It is still early days, I will admit that, but we will get there.
Sambal Dele. What are they on about now? They're on about blue Tabasco sauce and chili sauce. I don't know. It's a whole new world in chat. What the hell?
A whole new world.
So yeah, let's get rid of the phone because we don't need that right now. In terms of the old news, then, matey, shall we discuss the other partisan show? So on Sunday.
Let me just lean out a minute.
Oh.
I am loving the fact that I now have a fucking roll of kitchen roll right by my desk.
Little things, eh?
It's the little things in life.
So on Sunday we went to the other partisan show. To be honest, we didn't do any filming as much such. We took a few stills.
I was going to say, we took the entire gang, didn't we?
Yeah, we went with lots of friends, to be honest. We went with Rich, Upworlder was there, Trevor in
Spam.
the chat, Spam was there.
Alex.
Alex came along, yeah. Lots of people from our local club. I knew somebody had to go there. I'm just surprised that it wasn't Crispin.
No, it's the other dirty fucker. We love you, cheese
dear.
me.
Go everyone with the food. So yes, what was talking about? So yeah, we basically had a sort of social day, didn't we? We didn't treat it as too much of a worky event, did we, mate?
No, we didn't.
And it was good. It was a good show.
It was all right. It was a nice day. We bought some things.
I mean,
but
let's do the positives of Partisan. Parking's easy. Entry's only a £5. Venue's fine. Weakest probably thing about the Partisan event, food and catering. Very limited. Not particularly inspiring. Queues can get pretty fucking massive at the old restaurant thing. So that's you might want to take yourself some food and pack up along, because like I say, it's not the best thing about the show. But fantastic tables on display.
Lots of different stuff on display as well.
The usual suspects in terms of retailing. Now this, because the Partisan at Newark Showground effectively is run twice a year. They have the early year event around April, May time, and then the second one this time of year. The first one is a broader program of wargaming, incorporating sort of like sci-fi, fantasy, more unusual and less traditional wargaming elements. The later one, the one that we just went to, is more traditionalist. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not exclusively that. We saw demo tables for the Doomed, didn't we, mate?
Yeah. Same one same guys running the one that we saw earlier in the year, but different scenario.
I'm trying to think. Was there anything that wasn't what you would call an out the box historical game?
That fucking massive 6mm Jesus fucking H Christ D-Day one again.
Yeah, but it's D-Day, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It's historical. No, I was thinking like other things.
7TV?
They didn't have a table though, did they? There was, yes, well, there was like a display game that was very clever, which we did get some pictures of, and some video of. Essentially, some guys did a table where the participation game was broken down into zones. I think they said they ran it at Salute this year, so you can probably find it on the Salute coverage out there on the YouTube. But basically, they had these little zones that were vignettes based on 1980s TV
and 90s
TV.
There was Postman Pat there.
There was Postman Pat, correct? Yeah, Grange Hill, the adventure game.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. So that was very quirky and not at all a traditional historical war game. They had some Dead Man's Hand, although is that historical? Probably. I don't know really.
Technically.
Yeah, to be honest, Shark, if I was a bit more organised and not feeling quite so washed out, I'd have got some picks together, but not.
Paul's doing half a job.
Yeah, I'm coasting a bit at the moment, in terms of the way I feel. So, but yeah, as David has sort of touched upon, the only other thing I would say about Partisan, I'm not sure that we'll ever do both again. Because...
We will probably do either the May one
yeah,
or do the October one because it's more historical focused and we don't get that in a show locally.
yeah.
Because we're not going to Salute.
No, I'm not doing London. They can
No,
screw
but
that.
that do you see that's sort of my logic of
Yeah,
well, why
yeah,
don't
yeah.
we go do the historical one in October? Because the other thing as well is May was busy as fuck this year.
Yeah, that may end because we've got Dicini. I mean, again, to be fair, this end of the year we would normally have had Peterborough as well. But whichever one we end up doing, we definitely probably wouldn't do both of them. Because what was it, about 80% of the tables were the same?
Yeah, there was a lot.
There was a lot of the... That's probably unfair. Probably more like 50% of the tables were stuff that we'd seen at the earlier show.
Counterpoint though, it was quite nice to go and not be working for the channel. And just going with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And having a fucking laugh and a baller a day.
That's true. It did make it, because sometimes obviously when we, doing the video and filming thing, maybe that's something that we haven't.
Maybe we do. I was about to say maybe we do still do both.
But one's
and
very
May
much
is
leisure.
The one we work, and October's the one where we're just
leisure.
Doing us.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That is a very fair point, to be honest, because it gives us a chance to still enjoy it without having all that bloody burden. But if you don't have that to concern yourself with, again, pick one and do that. Probably don't do both, because it's not really worth it, I wouldn't have said. So, in terms of... We were quite restrained in terms of expenditure, weren't we? You bought a bit of Sarissa stuff, didn't you?
I spent just the other side of 100. I bought some terrain. So I bought myself some railway tracks for Wild West Exodus and World War II Bolt Action. I purchased some templates for Drop Zone Commander. And that was it.
I bought the Bolt Action 3rd edition rulebook. And I've started to have a look through that.
You nearly bought some Oathmark.
Yeah. I nearly bought the Oathmark supplements, and we were talking about... In fact, I have it here. We were talking about Oathmark the other evening, and I probably will end up buying the supplements at some point. But I want to give it a try, really dig into it first before I commit to buying everything. So what else?
Yet another McCullough game.
What else did I get?
Spam bought the world's worst fucking paint rack.
Yeah, we've touched across. Oh, did you send me a picture?
No, I didn't.
Send me a picture of your fucking Heath Robinson shambles.
Where do you want it? Discord?
I don't care, mate. Wherever. You just tell me where you've put it, and I'll get it downloaded if I can. Yeah.
Have I got it? Have I got it or not?
What?
No, I haven't got it.
Oh,
fuck.
Gutted. You clown.
Did I save it in chat?
Oh, my coffee. Out of shot. I have coffee.
Coffee. No.
Yep, I didn't buy any miniatures. I don't think I bought any terrain.
To be fair, the best thing about Spam's paint rack, it explicitly says on the website, this cunt's difficult.
Are you being serious?
Genuinely, on the fucking website, it goes, this is a bit tricky.
Okay. That's pretty funny. What the fuck did I buy?
Islands for Armada.
Ah, yes. That's it. I did. So, Iron Gate scenery. We've mentioned them before. We tend to see them everywhere. They are they basically do commercial 3D printed, don't they, mate?
Yes, they do.
And Iron Gate scenery had, you know where the models are from, don't you? They had a range.
Island and Inlet Kickstarter from, I think it's Warscape 3D.
Okay, so basically they had those printed and painted and finished. So there's a huge range of islands, bays.
Yeah, they're from Warscape 3D.
Yep. And for about 80 quid, I bought enough terrain to basically just do an Armada table. So, like, I basically just did Armada in one hit, which is really cool.
Tell us where you got the rack so we can point and laugh. War bases, is it?
War bases.
Yeah, bear with me. Bear with me before we start sacrileging people's names.
Actually, here's an interesting thing. If David keeps talking, I've gone onto a new screen, and everybody can tell me,
Can people still hear me or not?
Because I thought I'd found a solution for the David's audio dropping.
Was previously sold by Figurebits, apparently, right? I'm going to send you this image, Jin, or send you this link.
Yeah,
and
okay,
you can
mate.
Open it for the boys and girls at home, and we can explain why.
Where are you sending
it's such a whore. Discord.
Okay, I shall look in Discord. Okay, so you apparently didn't die when I was in my copy that link when I went to my browser. So it looks like we may have fixed that problem.
Shall we explain why this was such a whore once the image is on the screen?
Okay. Let's see if we can get this up for the people at home. Bada bing, bada boom.
Designed and made in Great Britain. Thank fuck it's not a tank you've designed because it was shit. So this fucker.
Oh, I'm feeling nauseous. Is this the GW version?
Yeah. If you click on it, that image will go big if you click on that big magnifier.
Oh, okay, like that.
And then we can bitch and moan about it. So
it looks relatively straightforward.
No, it's not. So you have two side pieces, and then you have each front rail that has all of the holes cut in for the Vallejo bottles. And then on top of that is a piece that sits on it nicely like a T to strengthen it and then to stick in next door to the next rack layer, etc. That's fine and dandy. On the back, there's a set of stringers that run side to side to give it some stability. And again, top and bottom, there's a nice bit of strengthening across top and bottom. Spam has sent you some pics on Facebook as well, Paul.
Right.
Of it. It is lovely until you're trying to glue this motherfucker together, and every move, the entire thing just falls out. It just goes no and falls to pieces in front of you because the tolerances on the cutting are that tight you could throw a sausage down the middle of the high street.
Okay.
This is the instructions for building it. To assist with construction, first lay one of the long 3mm thick sides flat onto a surface. Then start by adding the slats with the holes into each of the positions. Next, add the parts that hold the bottles at right angles to each of the slats, and only at that stage do you add the other long 3mm thick side. That's the tricky bit, and you can then add the top and bottom pieces to complete the construction.
Okay.
No, war bases, not appropriate.
So basically, because the tolerances were all to shit, it made it a complete choice. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Spam sending me pictures of the finished article. Oh, Jesus Christ. We had a little... What happened with the bottom slat?
Sam's daughter broke it when she tried to build it.
Well,
Yes, Moo, that has now forever been immortalised on the internet.
let's see if I can share that image. Oh, where's that gone? Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. How can I do that? Yeah, okay. I mean, we all get the idea. That's
It's fucking terrible.
okay. Fucking hell. So, was it cheap though?
Not hugely.
Not cheap enough, he says.
Hang on, we'll go Vallejo, and it was the large one. It's £12.
12 of your earthling pines.
£10 if you don't live in the UK and have to pay that.
Oh, fucking hell. Jesus. So you won't be buying any more then?
I've explicitly told Spam if she buys any more, she's on her own.
Fucking hell. Oh dear. You'll have to print her a better solution.
What, like my one that's by the door?
Yeah. Fucking hell. So should we talk about some? Should we talk about some news? So
Is there any news?
Well, there's a couple of things to mention actually. I do like Lords of War games and hobbies. Jay and can't remember the name of the other one.
Kay?
No, don't be a fool. I can't remember. But yeah, they tend to do multiple videos a week. To be honest, they're really simple talking head shit. But basically, these guys run a gaming store in Canada, in the Toronto region, I think, but I could be wrong. And they just have a cool perspective on. Oh yeah, we missed club. We'll come back to it. We'll circle back around. We're gonna shake it. We're gonna mix it up because we don't fucking care. Yeah, they always have an interesting perspective because they're retailers, and basically they just again, it had completely gone past me, but basically the gist of this video is that apparently Games Workshop had like a Warhammer Day or something, and
Did they?
yeah, and I
Who
don't
could
know
give
if
a
that
fuck?
was in the US only or in the UK or what it is, but apparently it was a shit show. Their website kept crashing. The previews were all fucked. Nobody could get anything. Nobody could get on the site to see anything. It was interesting.
Well, I'm going to just say, at least you won't be disappointed because you won't be able to get the fucking product anyway because of FOMO.
They
Sorry,
cover.
was that a bit salty?
No, well,
Sorry,
no. To be honest, it's almost as if you've watched the video because they do basically say about there's all sorts of stuff that gets dragged up with talking about Games Workshop with stuff like they you know they're sick of having customers who won't get excited about stuff because they know they're probably not going to be able to get it anyway. They said about the fact that basically because the Games Workshop news cycle and release schedule is so overhyped and relentless, it's just fatiguing. And it's just a nice little 20-minute video, which really is full of some great advice if somebody at Games Workshop wants to fucking take notice.
No, they won't though, because they're not big enough.
And just stop pissing your customers off. But yeah, good video, and I thought it was worth a watch, and I thought I'd give it a shout. And in fact, I'm going to give it a
David equals chaos, and I chose this life. Yes, you did. It's
Um,
all your fault, darling.
the other thing that came, the other thing is, this was actually, I saw it first on the On Tabletop Discord. Basically, the Mythic Games fiasco that's been circling on Kickstarter has come to
Oh,
an
they're finally filing for liquidation,
yeah,
aren't they?
they finally gone. I think filed for bankruptcy in France, Paris. I think that's where they're based. So they're dead. The company is being wound up. All its assets, IP wise and product wise, are being sold off to clear debts, and basically the whole thing's finished. Obviously, there's millions of pounds of money for Kickstarters that haven't been fulfilled, that's missing, or basically just disappeared into the fucking ether.
Yeah.
And there's like tens of thousands of customers that have been stiffed for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's
I feel bad, but this is the problem with Kickstarter. You are not entitled to the thing you back. It's very clear and very explicit. And this is what gets me about companies utilizing it as a method of selling items. Because if a company is in trouble, like Mythic are, it's now even worse for people. Do you know what I mean? I can understand the orders that you haven't processed for a month or two, maybe, but to have years worth of Kickstarters that are now non-delivering because of
yeah. I mean, Cheese Meme there says it's not a Ponzi scheme, it's simply bad management and bad luck. The reason I made a bit of a throwaway remark in the On Tabletop thing about it being a Ponzi scheme, and what I meant by that was one of the things that I think has come to light through whistleblowers and things is that Mythic got themselves into a situation where they started to launch campaigns to generate
to pay
funds
for the last
to pay for the
campaign.
previous campaign shortfalls and issues. And that's what I meant about the Ponzi scheme thing, where your next project isn't, it's a bit of it's a lie, because it's not. What you're actually doing is launching a project to rescue the project before, without thinking, yeah, but what are you going to do about the project you've just launched after you've siphoned all the funds out of it? Do you know what I mean? Oh, well, that's all right. We'll just have another one. And this is the problem. I think once they started it, they couldn't
Yeah, once
stop.
they started down that rabbit hole,
Yeah.
they fucked themselves.
Hello, Ewok. Great to see you at Partisan, sir. Uh, I mean, it's there's all sorts of reasons why this is tragic news. Number one, Mythic's games, when they hit and when they actually um
Pantheon was really good.
Mythic Battles Pantheon's was a great game, flawed initially, but they quickly corrected it with the 1.5 update to improve the balance. It was obviously not sufficiently play tested. Joan of Arc was well received, I think, by those that bought it. I just didn't buy it because of the scale of it. Solomon Kane, I was so close to buying, and I've seen people really enjoy that game and play it a lot online. Again, great production values, really well received by the people who were into it. So, Darkest Dungeon, the people who got it spoke highly of it. It's just that so many people didn't get it, whether that be the initial wave or the wave 2 or whatever. It's, the other tragedy is the Kickstarters that failed with Mythic here were big. This was not, a little fucking 2-bit company that had like a $100,000 Kickstarter and it all went down the fucking drain. These guys, these were $1 million Kickstarters that were fucking basically just collapsing. And you know the and the problem is exactly like it that when somebody of this scale collapses and it all goes fucking wrong, it really hits the marketplace hard. I think I am going to be so much more cautious around Kickstarter. I have touched wood. I have been so lucky not to have any problems with anything that I've backed, apart from delays. Stuff's come late, but I've got it. So Ewok says Dark Dungeon looked awful on a playthrough, so he just got rid of it without playing it. That's fair enough, mate. But
I mean, again, it's different strokes for different folks, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Cheese Me says there you should always be careful with Kickstarters. You do. Ultimately, if you again Kickstarter, when you look at a backer, it tells you how many projects they've had. Always check online for that name. Do your due diligence. I mean, again,
I nearly had one the other month. Ludus Maxus Studios were doing a reprint of theirs on GameFound. Turns out the reason why they went to GameFound is because everybody was fucking running away from Kickstarter because they still haven't delivered shit.
Yeah, I think they were two projects undelivered, weren't they?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm leaving that fucker alone. Let's not fuck around with that barge pole.
Yeah, I mean, Cheese Me says it's always 100% risk and zero guarantee, and that is true. I mean, again, if you're back in a £20 card game and you're like, fuck it, if I get it, I do. If I get it, I don't. That's fine. But once you start paying hundreds of dollars, number one, always remember that you can still get fuck all, but do your due diligence. If that company has got like a history of failed projects, don't back it. Do you know what I mean? If the one before didn't deliver, don't back anymore. Do you know what I mean? I mean that goes without saying. If they've got one failed Kickstarter,
and again, if they have suddenly changed crowdfunding platform, question fucking why.
I mean, Shakos makes a good point. Somebody can have a great track record and then it can all go wrong. And like you say, their early projects funded, were delivered, they were well received. Even if they were a bit ridiculously ambitious, some of them. And but again, that's what that's what Cheese Me was saying. There are still no guarantees. You can do your due diligence, and this could be the one. This could be the one where they overreached. This could be the one.
I was about to say, view it as an investment. View it that you may not get the money you put in out.
Yeah. What do they say about investments? Your investment may go down as well as up. So
yeah.
As I say, it's
what
over.
Kickstarter should be
being
used
At least
for,
this is over.
Is for funding things that need investment.
Yeah, Shakos has made a good point. No. The opposite to an investment, it's basically just gambling. I'm not familiar with Peterson Games. Ewok, was that a lot of money you were in for? Yeah, like I say, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful, and because the other thing is, if you are thinking of backing a Kickstarter, always make sure to check eBay first to see if people have already backed that Kickstarter once. Say, for example, if it's a reissue or whatever. You
Oh,
never know.
what? Like a certain company that did Mythic Battles
Hi,
Ragnarok.
Rich.
I could get it sooner by buying it on eBay because somebody had made you feel bad. Don't mind
Yeah.
if I do.
I mean, again, even the Kickstarter exclusive bundles, you'll see them. Sometimes people.
I've done it a couple of times. I got the OG Dungeon Saga Kickstarter from Facebook
Yeah,
Marketplace.
I think that was the first one that you did, wasn't it? Where you bought it on the
Yeah.
secondary market.
Right, we've got 10 minutes and we've done it all out of sequence, so let's talk about fucking club.
Yeah, at club this week, we had our three-way Frostgrave campaign
You
game.
really need to be careful about how you say that. Just saying, dude. Just saying.
Three-player Frostgrave campaign
you.
game in the Red King campaign.
Supplement.
Yep. And we actually squeezed 2 games in technically, didn't we? Because we had.
I mean, technically, but can you even call the first one a game when only one player participated?
Yeah.
And got critted off the table with a natural fucking 20?
Yeah. So the first mini game was because Ricky won the last scenario. He got the spoils.
He captured Callum and Rice.
Yes, he captured the wizard that was helping to bring the Red King to the Felstad dimension. So he got to basically do basically a treasure grab. We laid the chests out in a grid, and then basically his wizard alone had to run around grabbing as much treasure before he got the shit battered out of him by the wandering monsters. And that was what, about 20 minutes, half hour.
Yeah, something like
and
that.
then we got into the next scenario proper.
We got into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, so in the Red King campaign, for those who've not played it, that basically what happens is this: the Red King is this sort of demon creature that's trying to invade our dimension, and what he does is he casts a veil around Felstad, which is like a transition between his dimension and the Felstad Frostgrave dimension. So this
basically nobody's coming in or going out of the city.
Yeah, so this is the first scenario, the one we played, where the veil has come down and this is it. We're isolated, and that means that the development of your warband is completely changed because you can't access your home base, you can't recruit new. So if you guys die, if you're
like my apprentice did.
Yeah, if your followers get taken out of action, you can't replace them with what you want. You have to roll randomly on a table because basically the only people who'll join your warband are the other poor schmucks who are already trapped with you in Felstad.
So I had a thief die.
Yes.
Which has been replaced with a vampire, and I had my apprentice die, which has been replaced with a thug. Yay!
So he did get a fucking.
You win some, you lose some.
He did get an awesome vampire, and then he got a shitty thug. So it is what it is. Shaka says, this sounds like Rangers of Shadow Deep, also known as Ranger Suicide Simulator. Do you know what? I've not played it, Shakos, but as I said earlier, David and I started talking seriously about Oathmark. I can see us seriously becoming people who collect and play every single one of his games. That by him, I mean Joseph A. McCullough.
I know what you're saying, but Stargrave, is it really worth it?
Do you know what,
Is
though?
it really different enough?
I think we'd play it, and I think we'd enjoy it a lot.
Oh, definitely, because I fucking am loving what's it fucking called?
Crispin says
PlayStation
he owns
Zero.
most of his games. I mean, Silver Bayonet, we've not even scratched the surface. I've got
No,
that.
Silver Bayonet, you've not even scratched the surface because that was your present, twat.
Ghost Archipelago, we've dabbled with, haven't we? And you've got that.
You say we've dabbled with, we've played one game.
Yeah, exactly. So we've still got so much. And again, Rangers, the old solo experience, so tempting. But yeah, so yeah, we played Frostgrave and it was very good fun. But oh my god, David, your dice, what the fuck? Every time David.
Oh, no. Let me get salty about this. Let
hang
me
on,
get
hang on,
salty
hang on, hang on,
about
hang
this.
on, hang on.
Season me appropriately, sir. So how many dice would you say you typically roll in a game of Frostgrave? About 30, maybe 40 dice across the course of a game. I rolled, must have been at least 15 natural ones. 3 of them were in a fucking row back to back.
Oh god, it was so funny. It was literally like, and the thing is as well, it was like every time he tried to cast a spell, I'll try and cast a spell. Let me guess, natural what? Did your wizard actually go to wizarding school? What the fuck? It was very funny.
Apparently not this week.
It was bloody hysterical. But and to, like us, the thing is, this is Frostgrave all over. I've had an absolutely terrible campaign, haven't I? My apprentice died in what, the second mission? I don't think I've gotten a single game in the campaign, and we're on about mission 7 now, where somebody didn't die, whether it was a chump or a follower or my bloody apprentice. So I've been having a hell of a game. This one actually went okay for me, but David's dice said nope. And it was just
not
like
today, Satan.
It was just like, oh, okay, so it's David's turn to get shafted.
Do you
I
know
get
the
it.
best thing? Ricky's gone through this ever so well so far. The lucky bastard has got a fucking filter of life, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's
so
such a jammy twat.
If he dies, don't worry, boys and girls. He's got a potion that brings the dead person back to life, basically immediately.
Yeah, so he's even got a get out of jail free card for when his dice do turn on him. Fucker. Oh dear. So yeah.
If the dice don't turn on him, I think me and Paul might.
Yeah, we might suddenly forget, oh, we were supposed to be playing this co-op. Fuck that.
Kick 7 bells of shit out of one another.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's what we did at club. Very good fun. As always, we highly recommend Frostgrave. For those who haven't played it, although
shut the fuck up.
Although I will say this, I was talking to a couple of guys who were running a demonstration game of Silver Bayonet at Partisan, which looked very good. They'd got basically the Egypt supplement, all very Indiana Jones themed, with like very Egyptian terrain and crocodiles and loads of other stuff. And they did make...
Trevor, if our wizards die, we're game over.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That's the end of it. That's somebody out of the campaign.
Roll an apprentice randomly.
But what the guys did say, because they'd played a lot of Silver Bayonet, which I haven't yet. They did make the point that Silver Bayonet has one of the strongest edges over it versus Frostgrave, is that Frostgrave is extremely hobby intensive. Virtually every supplement and every scenario that's been written has some requirement for specialist
For some
models,
shit.
specialist terrain, whatever. Okay. Silver Bayonet is way more forgiving in terms of the hobby overhead. When you pick up a
Ooh.
supplement, you need to create the theme and flavour. So you might have a new monster list and you might have a few pieces of core terrain, but it's nowhere near as draconian as Frostgrave, where for this scenario you need 3 portals. This scenario you need 6 of this model and 3 of that model and some bookshelves, and it's like it's nowhere near that specific with Silver Bayonet. Which obviously, again, I imagine is Joseph learning from some of his design
Spaces.
his design choices in previous products. But it made me want to get. We've got to get Silver Bayonet played. 2025 Silver Bayonet is a game we're doing, mate.
No, we've already had the discussion of what 2025 is going to be.
Oh God, what's that?
In 20, Oathmark, you twat.
Doesn't have to be one game in
Yes,
2025.
it
It could be
does,
multiple
'cause
games.
it needs to be one game because we've already got quite a commitment in Oathmark, sir.
But Darren says, have you seen Peachy's Silver Bayonet Sharp games on his channel? I haven't watched any of the games, but I knew that he'd done like Sharp themed Bayonet. I should give that a watch, to be honest. I don't know what Peachy's battle reports are like. I know the rest of his. I do like his other videos. I've really gone off watching battle reports though, to be honest. I don't know about you. Do you watch many battle reports now, David?
I was listening to Ashen Stone today, his narrative battle reports. He's got some for Oathmark and for Frostgrave.
Has he?
Yeah.
Ashen Stone?
Ashen Stone. He's a Kiwi, I think.
Okay.
But he does like little animated intros and cutscenes and films like all his dice rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just liking it because again, looking at Oathmark after the conversation we had pre-stream last night, 2025 is probably Oathmark year for us. So consequently, I was starting to get my ducks in a row.
Yeah, we're getting there, Trevor. Yeah, okay then. I'll probably have to give his stuff a look because I was looking at what the guy said there. Do you know what? That's my issue with battle reports. Particularly
They're a bit dry.
Unless I'm looking at a battle report, say to learn how to play a particular faction or upskill myself in terms of playing something, I don't really care for the mechanics of what's going on, but the narrative is important. And if it's all too dry and mechanically focused, unless I've sought that out, because for example, just a quick aside before we get into the main topic, I play Asami 10 Thunders in Malifaux. In July of this year, basically her entire crew was rewritten for Malifaux 3rd edition. So the first thing I did was go and see if anyone's done any strategy or tactic guides on how to play her based on the changes. Shock horror, nobody has. A, because Malifaux's a really small game, and B, she's a really unpopular master. So it's like, that was a waste of time. But if I could have found somebody who'd done the crunch on that, sort of like, okay, this is how this works in practice, this is how you best do this on the table, I would have watched that. But generally, I'm right off battle reports, generally. Yeah, Auspex Tactics, where it's 40k, don't give a fuck. Minisode 2nd edition 40k battle reports. Ooh! Okay. Okay, noted. Minisodes. I'm just going to quickly bring that up into a tab so that I remember
So that you don't forget about it in your old age.
Minisodes. Is he on YouTube? He is on YouTube. I've got it. Okay, thank you, Darren. I will have a quick look at that. Oh my god, he's playing bloody Advanced Space. Oh no, it's Tyranid Attack. Fucking hell. He must be a Yank, I guess. That's cool. Right, okay. So, should we do main topic o'clock? Hello,
Right, boys
Pandy.
and
Where have
girls,
you been,
it's time
sir?
to get into. Pandy's here.
Shark says Malifaux. I'm not sure about that game, Paul. Do you know what, Shark? I totally get it, mate. Malifaux is not a game I would recommend to every player. It's very abstract. It's very computer
Thinking
gamey
man.
is the best way I can describe it. It's sort of like the missions are extremely fiddly. There's a lot of you push these models over here.
Put it in the chat, please.
Now, the only thing I tell you what, Shark, the only thing I would say about Malifaux, and the bit that I think would appeal to more gamers, is using a deck of cards to resolve a randomness instead of dice. That element of the game works very well, and you should try it once. Just because it's just like, whoa, that is such a clever idea. But the rest of it, with the fact that all of the models have their own custom rules, everything's as fiddly as fuck. Totally get it.
The fact that technically you shouldn't build your list till you get to the table.
Yeah, there are lots of things about it that I would say it's a good game, but it's not necessarily a game that everybody's going to want to play in our hobby. I mean, there are some people.
Cheers, Crispin.
There are some people that it really is spot on for, like Luke at our club. He plays a lot of good computer games. He loves that sort of like he loves tower defense and anything where it's very abstract and
thinking
positional.
And strategy and
I gave him a demo game and immediately you could see that gleam in his eyes and he was like, okay, so I can so I need to push this over here, move them there, do this, and you could see his head was building the combos and putting the chained events together to make the game work.
I still need to give it a go because I don't think I've had a demo game yet, mate.
Of Malifaux, you should try it. I'm not sure. Because obviously I know you quite well. I'm not sure it's your cup of tea, but I think you should try it. And I tell you should try it just from the point of view of the deck of cards. The RNG that's driven by that deck of cards instead of dice is so clever. So, Pandy, you've been socialising.
No, Upworlder, no, it doesn't depend on what minis you like, because technically you should buy everything as per the rules. Roll your scenario up, then do your list.
So, that is a thing. Logged into stream 3 times. You keep getting kicked, Crispin.
Either that or he's just putting numbers up.
He's just logged in. He's got like all his browsers, fucking all his devices at home logged in on his telly. Fucking
Crispin, get the wife's or the missus's one.
You're hysterical. Well, good lad. That's funny as fuck. Right, shall we do the topic? So, this topic, this is weekend related. So, driving home from Partisan with Rich, who's in the chat now, Upworlder, Trevor, Spam, all of us in the car, we kicked off a little conversation about packaging and...
Ow, my fucking ears. What did you do to your microphone?
Sorry, is that me?
Yeah, you just made a really weird noise. I didn't like it.
Sorry. So yeah, we were. I might have hit it. Did I hit it with my pipe? Maybe.
I think you might have, because it fucking ruptured my eardrum.
So, yeah, that's
what
it.
inspired this topic? Partisan.
Crispin says, was it on the size of your packages? Yeah. To be fair, that's pretty much it. Oh my god. No, I can't remember what kicked it off. I think Rich said something, didn't he?
Richard was saying about his kids. So Richard's kids are massively into 40k.
That's
they
right.
are on about keeping some of everybody kind of has to. They are on about keeping some of their packaging back to make a art piece for the stuff that they've built and stuff that they've painted. And we were just talking about that, and then the conversation opened up more to packaging in general and the assets of it, because how do we want to kick this off?
Oh shit. Sorry, David, what?
How do we kick this off?
So, it occurred to us that actually there was quite a huge amount of variety in the way that packaging is approached in the hobby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably the best way. I think there is an element of the scale of the company definitely influences the packaging to a big degree. So, for example, if you are Mantic, Warlord, Games Workshop, your packaging is very professional. Okay, by that we mean that it's very heavily standardized across your product ranges, but at the same time it has great artwork, and it does a good job of separating itself from your other products in the range. Okay, so for example, I don't, Paul, I don't really get that, Paul, but I don't know what I've missed. So one range that occurred to me is like Bolt Action's range from Warlord. Now everything has got it's very black. You get the gold, don't you?
Yeah, it's very dark.
But if you look at a display, although everything's very uniform, black and gold, the artwork that they put on the boxes is sufficiently distinct.
Well, again, even the photography of the pieces themselves and the contents list on the back, it's all very well done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, funny that, Paul. I'm glad that you made some sales though, mate. Of your figures and stuff. Because you got to keep moving things forward. But yeah, that was a shame about your terrain project, but no doubt you'll revisit it. You'll find some solutions. I'm sure you will. Or some compromise. So yeah, big companies, it sort of goes without saying, they get the professionalism right. But that doesn't necessarily mean that even the big companies don't commit what
Hang on, because I'm about to go fucking postal. Let me just wash some shit, and then I will be with you.
This is This is
Because
a.
we need to go down to my desk
Oh my.
because I'm about to get fucking salty.
Oh my
So I
god.
appreciate what Paul is saying about you get professionalism from the likes of Mantic, Games Workshop. You get professionalism. You get the good shit.
Oh, cheese me's good
I
shout.
would like to refer the room. Where the fuck did that go? Did I only open it in Discord? Must.
Do you know what, Shakos? That is exactly where I was going to go.
Hang on, Ginge. I'm just.
No, that's fine. So, talking about the big boys, and we've already said the thing is they get the basics right, but Shakos makes a fantastic point, and I think one of the worst offenders for this is Games Workshop, but I'm sure if I bought more, I haven't. The problem is most of the Mantic stuff I've bought is on mail order, and Mantic do a really smart thing, which is when you buy Mantic shit on mail order, they just send you it in generic packaging. It's all very minimal and there's no waste because they don't waste a box that would have been shelf display. And some people might think that's tight and horrible. I think that's very good because anything that reduces the bloody needless waste is great. But Games Workshop, I've bought Games Workshop kit, sort of miniature boxes that are like 8 inches by 10 inches and about 2 inches deep. And you open it up and you've got a single plastic sprue, a fucking leaflet 2-folded fucking A5 piece of paper, and about 70 or 80% fresh fucking air in a shrink wrap box.
Can I go on a rant about Mantic, please?
Yeah. Do you want your camera?
Yes, I do want my fucking camera.
It's not coming up. Oh, is that because you've disconnected and reconnected?
Might be
Hang on a minute. I need to probably copy the new URL in.
But anyway,
hang on.
No, I'm just about to talk.
Then. Go on, you go.
So you've got different tiers of packaging. One thing with the pre-stream on this that we said about was really good is most board games are really good. They've got some really nice artwork on the front, and then you flip the box over, and they've typically got a nice little layout showing you what you've got in the box, that kind of thing. Wonderful. Amazing, right? This isn't even the retail edition of Worms. This is the collector's edition from Kickstarter. We'll just ignore all of this shit on the top. We'll just take that out and dump that a minute because it's all in the way. Mantic, I appreciate what you've done here. You've got a nice storage system with some clippy bits, places for me to put my bags, my tokens, my minis, and all of these minis are in little display cases. They take up a nice amount of room. They're going to support my miniatures. They're not going to break and damage them. But there are games and issues with this because this takes up a lot of space, so much space that I can't actually fit all of the boards in that I've got in my set. And secondly, if I want to box all these up in a Chinese container afterwards to get some more space to put some more shit in, what the fuck am I doing with this layer? Because, oh, look, boys and girls, it's attached to the fucking box!
Oh, dear. Wait, you could cut it off?
No!
Oh, dear.
Rant over. Oh, look! Even the core cards don't fucking fully fit.
Yeah.
Ugh,
okay.
annoying.
So what? Yeah. Not. What would you say? 7 out of 10?
Yeah, 7 out of 10 maybe. Because again, we put all this away. Right.
That piece of clear perspex is a nice touch.
Yeah, we'll put my dice tray in.
Yeah.
We'll put my rule books in.
Yeah.
And the pamphlet. This. What the fuck is this about? Oh, look, we'll just sort of toss them in on top because, oh, wait a minute, they don't all fit in the box.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh dear. So.
Put the lid back on. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? Oh, look, my lid doesn't fit properly. Some prior planning, boys and girls.
It's because, to be
Prior
fair,
planning.
the box is close to being the right size, isn't it? I'll be honest.
It's not egregiously big. It's not egregiously big. It's not like, say, Mythic Battles.
No, I have the same issue that David's just had. He's just demonstrated it perfectly.
We're done with my
with
camera,
Gloomhaven. So Gloomhaven is exactly the same problem. Once you unpack it and take all of the terrain tiles out of their space sprues that you actually build the maps with, because they then become a series of weird irregular shapes that you will never be able to remember how they locked together to make fucking a flat, series of planes. It becomes impossible to pack it back in as tight enough, so the lid ends up standing like an inch and a half.
You can't build your box properly.
I mean, again, like David's demonstrated with the worms box, it doesn't matter as such because the box is so ridiculously fucking big. Even if you've got like this 2-inch gap, it's still secure enough that you can carry it around. But it is a bit frustrating.
But you have to take the flip side of this. I know I've done a bit of work with my Arkham Horror set, but the box is big enough that it fits the core game plus all of the expansions. Yes, I've had to 3D print some systems and the lid is a bit proud, but I've got everything in there.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we'll I don't know if I've got it to hand at the moment. No, I haven't. League of Infamy, same shit, same story from Mantic. Dungeon Saga Origins, exactly the fucking same story. So much so, I've got fucking bags of the terrain on the fucking side in here because they won't fit in the box that I've got. I will rant because they do so much so well, but the packaging lets them down.
But does it let them? I mean, I know what you're saying. It doesn't let them down in a huge way, though, does it?
No, it's not egregious.
But
it's so close to being perfect. It's like, oh, well, they just gave up a little bit on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe that's being a bit disingenuous to Mantic.
I'm trying.
But it's how I personally feel. Somebody mentioned it in chat earlier about plastic baggies and packaging.
Here we go.
We had a really, really fantastic experience at Tangent Minis at Partisan, didn't we, Paul?
Yeah.
So they were 3D printing miniatures and putting some of them in Ziploc bags, like a drug dealer. And then they've got these bags that have like a hollow back, like a holographic back, that they're putting grey, unprimed, resin, 3D printed miniatures and sealing them shut. No information, no name of what you're getting, just a price, and molest the miniature to see what you're getting.
I think, because to come, before we get too deep into this, generically, the big companies all produce the same sort of consistency. They're close. I mean, I don't think any of them has what I would call the perfect product range or packaging.
Again, I've just got one here. TT Combat. You get generic as shit in a box, but all of the liners on the outside show you what you're getting and everything else. Yes, it's a little bit big.
Yeah, they do have a fair bit of dead space.
But it's standardised. And everything on their shop shelves is the same, and it will take 90% of the shit that they're selling.
And do you know what? They're not bad for space. I think Trevor said that Malifaux are pretty good. I would say Malifaux for some of the kits,
that ballerina you got me for Christmas, that was fucking laughable.
yeah, over packaged for what it was.
A box like that for a single sprue for a single miniature.
I mean, they do like they do like the crew boxes, which have like 6 or 7 models in sometimes, which are reasonable for what you get in there. But you get the boxes like have the single figures, and they're fucking huge. They're so chunky and massive. And again, I know why they do it, because they're designing things for display in retail. Talking about so coming down to the smaller guys, the smaller companies is where you get an absolutely massive range of packaging quality, don't you? So David,
you get...
I think pretty much the worst example, when we were sort of like brainstorming this as a topic, the worst example that we could think of was the Tangent miniatures packaging. Because when you think about your packaging, there are several jobs that you need it to do. First of all, you want it to protect your products, don't you?
Yeah, you want it to display your products.
Yes, it was, Chris. So you want it to protect stuff. Now, the Tangent miniatures, which are basically just in Ziploc plastic bags, they're not protected at all, mate, are they? And they're fragile resin, because you've had breakages, haven't you?
I've had breakages.
Yeah.
Models I've purchased them and then not realised that they're broken until I've got them home.
Yeah.
Looking at you, alien antenna.
And do you know what though? Here, in fairness, even when you're talking about, you know, really basic, dirt cheap packaging from, you know, these mail order companies who send you stuff in generic white boxes with a bubble wrap, I think this was a very difficult one for your. We were very struggling to come up with examples of companies who did packaging that didn't do the protection job. Don't you think?
Yes, most things are very well protected. They're either bubble wrapped inside the boxes or in insert trays or that kind of thing. And most of like your packaging failures tend to come on your board games when they're big and heavy and the outer box is split.
Yeah, because it can't take the strain.
And then the inner box has become damaged.
Yeah.
It's not that the inner box has failed itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, sure. But so in terms of the protection, I mean, and here's this is where the comments could be really good. If you've got examples of packaging ranges where they failed at that task, which is protecting the contents and getting them to you in a safe and usable manner, call them out in the comments. But I mean, moving on to other things. So the packaging should show you what you are buying, and that can either be photos, hand-drawn art, renders. There's so many ways you can do it. Tangent, utter failure, because you just get a milky, pearlescent plastic bag.
Don't even get a label to say what the fuck it is.
It's like fail. I mean, if you take one of the ones that we thought was a good example of basic but functional packaging with the blister packs from Crooked Dice, 7TV.
Foundry protect them very well.
Yes.
Miniature with foam in a blister pack. But again, we're not just gunning for Tangent here.
No.
Foundry do have issues that they are just throwing silver, white metal miniatures in a plastic bag and going, there you go, make from it what you will. Yes, at least the Foundry stuff is labelled, though. At least the Foundry stuff goes, well, this is X. Do you know what I mean?
Cheese me, you've said they're Crooked Dice Ziploc bags with zero info. Is that stuff that you've had from their mail order? Because I tell you what, the stuff that they put on retail display at their shows, they have their blister packs so that the back of the pack is facing forward. There's always a full colour insert with painted versions of the miniatures on it. Because metal miniatures, again, yeah, a Kickstarter's different. We'll come to that, Cheese Me, and I'm going to give them a bonus point for that, even though you might think it's not good. So when they're retail packaging, because here is Foundry, right? Okay, they've got really consistent branding. The Foundry have got, I think it's a blue card, isn't it, with the Foundry logo at the top.
Blue card with the red and yellow Foundry logo, isn't it?
Yeah, and the blister on the front is open, so you can see your metal figure, and you get like a printed sticker which tells you what it is. But metal models are terrible to read. If you're looking at metal models in a blister, assessing the detail or looking at the sculpt, it's fucking awful. Because they reflect light badly, they have no contrast. They're really, for metal models, either at minimum a well photographed, washed,
painted miniature,
blank, or ideally a good studio paint job, well photographed. I just think that's what you want for metals.
Render.
Hello, Tim. Yeah, or a render. But so, I mean, again, you know, it's not rocket science. If Crooked Dice can do it, why can't other smaller companies do it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, please, guys, up your fucking game.
So
I mean,
we've come to protection.
So we've talked about protection. We've talked about showing what it is.
Can I state something as well?
Yeah.
So we've spoke about protection. There are one type of miniature or terrain that needs no protection or very little protection. And that would mainly be this shit here, boys and girls.
Yeah.
MDF in a packaging. This is the most minimal you can get. Just wrapped in a bit of shrink wrap, little bit of labeling on it to tell you what it is, with a code so you can go to the website, download instructions. This is from War Cradle.
Yeah.
Sarissa do very similar, but Sarissa nicely get a little pamphlet in it.
Yeah.
That has some sketched artwork.
Or a render or something.
War Cradle, for their stuff that's retail, because all of this was out of a big bulk set. The retail stuff typically has like a little slip in it as well, doesn't it? To show you what it is.
Yeah. I agree, Cheese Me. I'll be honest, having to go to manufacturers' websites for assembly instructions, looking at you Weird Miniatures, looking at you TT Combat, piss off. Just produce even a fucking cheap printed slip. So just put it in the fucking box, man.
I'm gonna push hard back on that.
Okay.
I'm gonna push hard back on that. Because if somebody calls out your instructions as being bullshit, looking at you, War Cradle, and the fucking building that you did for Paul, and the fucking stuff that I'm doing, that regularly stuff just magically appears on the fucking model, I'm collating it all up and I'm going to send a very strongly worded fucking email. So hopefully somebody will pull their finger out their end and will reissue the paper
Yeah,
instructions on the website.
Oh, Ewok! The pamphlet is more sturdy than the MDF with Sarissa. Oh, mate. Shots have been fired. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I know what you're saying. Yes, a digital one, you can update it so much easily. You haven't got printed ones in circulation that are flawed, but fuck off. What, just put something in the fucking box, man. Surely. I mean, Cheese Me just mentioned about Kickstarters where they basically forego the retail packaging and send you stuff, as basic bitch packed as they can. Do you know what? I am all for that. If you particularly, because I'm going to show you an example now. Particularly if you never think your game is going to retail because you know it's an insane proposition that no fucker will ever stock. Don't spend a ton of money on fancy boxes that cost you a fucking shit ton to ship to me when you can pack it down into a quarter of the size. So, Mythic Battles Pantheon, right? This was the all-in for Mythic Battles Pantheon. And every expansion was packaged, as you can see, in its own arted box. They look wonderful. I am not aware that this product ever.
Should I just come there with that?
There we go. I am not aware that this product ever had a ghosted hell's chance of ever being retailed. When just about a month or 2 months ago, I unpacked all of that, and basically if you see the 3 boxes across the bottom of that, everything that you see there goes into those 3 boxes, and it nearly goes into 2 of those 3 boxes. There is that much fucking dead space and wasted space by the time you've repacked those models, and I've even put the models into Chinese food containers with bubble wrap to protect them when they're painted. It's not as if they're literally just chucked into a box because they're unpainted plastic. But the amount of fucking redundant cardboard and plastic trash that was sent out with that makes no sense to me. Just don't.
There's a lot of dead.
There must be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of art, layout time, desktop publishing, printing, assembly. Fucking save it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, although it might be a controversial opinion, actually,
I'm agreeing with you in principle.
Yeah.
But
Night Cheese
I
Me.
think whoever it was that said, actually, Kickstarters, I want to know that I've got everything. I need a packing list, boys and girls.
Yeah.
I need a list to make sure that you haven't missed items.
Yeah, that is fair. Or an absolutely a great. I mean, again, to be fair, just do a really good fucking pledge manager and checkout system. That's not rocket science. A lot of the Kickstarters I've backed, Maladin was good. Monolith's great. The checkouts and the pledge managers are great.
Speaking of which, has Isfit pledge manager opened yet?
Don't. Yeah, it has. Because I've already paid for my expansion.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after stream then.
Okay. So, I mean, as I say, I think context sensitive packaging is a good thing. If you
I think the point here is, Paul,
yeah,
it's about knowing your audience, knowing where stuff is going.
yeah,
If you've got to ship it across the world, it doesn't really matter what the box is like, etc., so long as it survives. We've already said. Again, if you know you're going to retail and it's got to have some
no,
presence.
he didn't, Tim. He said context.
No, not contact sex. That's completely different, Tim.
But oh dear. Sorry. Yeah, you were saying, mate.
So I think a lot of it, similar to about getting a good product and selling a good product, is knowing your audience, knowing where it's going. Is it going to retail, etc.?
Yeah.
Because again, the Battletech boxes are a prime example. They've got like the little display case in them. God tier's the same. It's got the little display
window
box in them, and it's got the little window cut out that you can see the miniatures in.
Yes.
And it looks really nice, but there is dead space in those.
And the miniatures are displayed properly on the back as well.
Yeah.
You're right. Those Steamforged packets certainly have a lot of air in them with those, because it's the vac form trays. This is another thing, right? Assassin's Creed, Batman, Gotham City Chronicles. The miniatures all come in these vac formed, but whatever it is, I don't know what plastic it is, trays.
Hips,
probably. And they're just such a fucking really inefficient way to store miniatures. They look lovely, but fuck me, when you take those miniatures and pack them more sensibly, I mean, particularly given the fact that half of the time the miniatures that they've put into this beautiful vac-formed tray are bulletproof PVC that you could give to a 4-year-old and they'd come back in one piece. You know, you really don't need to be precious about these things. Why the fuck do I need a 20-inch square vac-formed tray that's 6 inches deep with a massive void underneath to display my cheap PVC Chinese models? I don't. But this is another thing, though, that I think Rich mentioned a while ago. And this is something that I think that companies like Games Workshop are particularly guilty of. One of the reasons you get massive over packaging, I mean, can anybody remember, I don't know if it's still the same, who remembers the Hive Tyrant box for 40k? I am not fucking joking. It's as
that big old box.
It's bigger than this, and it must be about 2.5-3 inches thick, and there's fucking nothing in it. But the reason that the box is like this is when they say that's 60 quid, you're like, 60 fucking quid? And they give you if they actually packed the sprue sensibly, they'd give you something like the size, like that. 670 quid? Are you mad? And it's all about creating perceived value. So they over package things so that they look, yeah. But again, your vac form tray, Darren, fills the box lovely so that you get a massive box. And it's like, oh, well, look at the value in here. Yeah. Blood Bowl teams are pretty good, actually. The boxes aren't oversized. Yeah.
They're not terrible.
But yeah, over packaging for generating a value proposition is.
Was it Shakos that was here? I think it was Shakos that was saying earlier there's a lot more people now that are also eco-conscious.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be derogatory.
No.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that are shunning plastic packaging. There is laws and legislations in Korea regards Lego that if you got a box, it must be filled. You can't be shipping a box that's half empty. It's not appropriate.
Yeah.
So Lego in Korea have to put a little collector's box in, a little tray for filling out the void space in their boxes. They're exactly the same boxes that they're selling in the UK, US, Canada, wherever.
Yeah, yeah.
But in Korea, they've got to put this tray in when they're packaging it because Korean law states it's not appropriate.
But again, in a way, but well done Korea for passing some legislation that could do something, but down votes for making it so easy for the manufacturer to gamify it and get around it. I mean, it's not relevant to necessarily the hobby, but one of the things that's happened here in the UK recently is that a lot of fast food retailers are moving away from styrofoam to basically fully recyclable cardboard. And I'm all for it. I don't care if I'm
paper straws.
Opinions
on paper straws, though.
I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. At least wood pulp products are easier to recycle, reuse, and biodegrade than fucking petroleum-based plastics. I think it's a good thing, and again, this is part of why I'm a fan of not over packaging stuff. Is like if I'm buying it mail order, and I'm the only fucker who's gonna see it, and I know what I've bought because I bought it off your website, just put it in a fucking blank white box with some fucking foam or bubble wrap or whatever. It's like fine. I mean, admittedly, if you are a retailer that does this, it might be an idea to put, is this a gift? So that if somebody wants proper packaging because they're giving it for a gift, you can, have that option. Hell, even add 10% to the price. But I think you probably would be well served putting it there. Darren, I don't think they get much noise. You want broken biscuits and there's space, but no broken biscuits is good. North Korea has no need for packaging, Bandy says.
No, but Southern Korea does.
I mean, that's digital has rendered all that useless. I mean, like I say, I think we're coming up for the 10-minute mark. We've pretty much covered everything that we wanted to say. I think we've talked about over packaging.
We've kicked the bad examples.
Yeah. And we've praised good examples. And like I say, even the companies that have a flexible
I've just
approach.
had a fucking massive curveball idea as well.
Yeah, go on.
When it comes to packaging.
Is there anything we've missed, guys?
Rule books.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay. So, where are you going with this?
Hear me out. We were
I'm not gonna.
Partisan and we saw Arcworld.
Yes.
It's a twee little game. Looks all right. But the rule book is like a little A5 soft back, soft touch leather effect with some gold foiling on it. Looks really nice.
Yep.
I think you play about 5 games with that, and then it'll start to look dog-eared to fuck.
I think that's harsh, but I can see what you're saying. You don't think it's of the highest quality.
Same token, softback books. Not necessarily the same token as hardback books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shall we just you're buying a product, a hardback book is packaging at the end of the day. It makes it more resilient to wear and damage.
I see where you. So what are you saying? Are you saying basically you would like it if you always had a hardback option for rule books?
Yeah.
And if it's
Is it?
more, would you buy it anyway?
Yeah, I would buy a hardback book if I'm going to play the game regularly and I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
Softback books for the games that I don't play regularly, but hardback books for the ones that are coming out 3, 4, 5 times a year because they just get dog-eared over time. They just get used.
Yeah.
Fuck off, Upwelder. I don't want a PDF. I'm not poor.
To be fair, I don't. I do prefer real rule books. The only thing I hate is real rule books for games that change every 2.5 minutes, and I've got to keep fucking replacing them. That
No,
pisses me off.
again,
But
I'm not knocking your content, Pandy. But again, at GW, when they offer you like fucking the Necromunda stuff, and it's 40 quid for a rule book, and it's softback, or it's embedded in like a 150 quid box.
yes.
No, just fucking no.
To be fair though, that's more of a a value proposition thing, isn't it? I think what feels bad about that is the actual cost that you're paying for something that is basically glue bound and softback. Do you know what? I don't know if you can, Pandy, or whether you've got numbers in your head. What sort of multiple of cost would it increase your rulebooks if you were to get them produced as like hardbound A5 books? I mean, if you don't have numbers, that's fine, just shout out. But as somebody who's actually in the industry and may have actually looked at book printing recently, it would be interesting to know what the actual cost differential of hardback is, in terms of companies selling them. Because I mean, it is true. Like there aren't really, because I'm such a magpie and don't and play like 100 different games and not just 10. I don't really have any rule books
You
that have worn
don't get the
out.
wear.
Yeah,
But like Flames, Carnivale, Blood on the Water. Carnivale, Blood on the Water. I can tell you now, that's going to be a rule book that will get dog-eared and fucked.
see, Pandy has put here, look, Mork 2 is coming out hardback, and it really is not as much as you would think. Interesting, mate. Interesting.
No, but I just think it rounds in nicely to this packaging topic.
Yeah,
and
you are right.
Because again, we've already said we don't care about packaging because 9 times out of 10 we're going to throw it away anyway.
Yeah, I am pretty ruthless, and I am sort of the opposite. I mean, where we came in on this conversation talking about Rich's kids, I'm the opposite when it comes to packaging. I've got no sentimentality about it at all. I if I've got a better storage solution than the manufacturer's box, it's gone, and I don't care how pretty it is.
No, but again,
it's ripped
that's
up
the
and
point,
scrapped.
though, that a board game or a rule book is something that you're going to live with.
Well,
So,
to be fair, although again it comes down to whether it's got a resale proposition. If it's something I ever think I'm likely to resell, and I think this is the thing that probably sets board games apart from, say, miniature games. When you've built, assembled, and painted your miniatures, keeping the original box is fucking redundant because it's no longer fit for purpose.
no.
Whereas a board game, it is something that lives in its box through use, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, again, we haven't touched on it, but the Tindaya box. Again, Tindaya, board game that I own, has space in the core box to add the expansion miniature fleet in the box from the factory. It's not got to go as a separate
That's
layout anyway.
that's very much a board game manufacturer's thing, but actually that foresight to make your core box a storage solution for all of your expanded game is brilliant. I mean, again, effectively, that's what I did with Mythic Battles Pantheon. I managed to get all of the fucking miniatures for the expansions in those 3 big boxes and get rid of all of the other shit. I even got all of the Kickstarter extra tiles for the board games and that, the actual games as well. I mean, I tell you something else. I can't remember who it was, probably Shakos, but we were talking about the big companies and quality of packaging, and Shakos made a good shout. Moonstone. Again, the multi-award winning Moonstone. The packaging from that company, I think, stands easily up against the bigger boys in terms of the quality of I think it was you, Shakos, wasn't it, who mentioned the multi-award winning Moonstone. The artwork is fantastic. The boxes look beautiful. They've got great shelf presence, and they look fantastic laid out at the cons. And they're not a big firm. They really aren't a big firm. See you later, Tim.
But again, it just having that foresight and knowledge of knowing your market, knowing where you're selling to, knowing what your selling area is as well.
Yeah.
Is it retail at cons? Do you need to invest in some artwork, or are you only selling this generic and actually the minis in the case will do better, or that kind of thing?
Yeah. Again, you know, I suppose knowing your audience is where we are with people like Foundry, aren't we? Because we criticised Foundry, but the old grognards, but probably nobody under 35 or 40 buys anything from Foundry anyway. And the people who do buy it remember that when they were teenagers, everything came on a fucking Games Workshop card clam pack glued with a fucking piece of foam behind some metal minis. So for them, it's just like, well, miniatures have always been packed like this.
Yeah, that wandering down sentimental alley.
Yeah, but again, I just think surely it's not too difficult to just up it a little bit. Because it definitely, we saw, which miniature range did we see? It had got like a weird Scandinavian name. Was it
Bifrost?
Bifrost, that was it. Bifrost miniatures, we saw them at, was it Northumbrian Tin Soldier?
No, they were at War Bases.
War Bases, yeah. They were...
The place that sells the shitty...
Beautiful little clam packs, great little miniatures, beautiful paint jobs. It's packed very similar to the Crooked Dice. Full colour insert with painted representations of the little metal miniatures. Great production. And they really, it really made you want to pick some up and buy them. It took me quite a bit of self-control not to drop a few quid on a couple of clam packs, just because the models look great. And it does.
They were really good. Oh fuck!
I suppose this comes back to as well something that we did talk about at the beginning, with like the miniatures needing to be the boxes rather needing to be pretty and draw you in. But packaging obviously sells products. And, particularly, again, when you've got a fucking huge range, it's important that people can separate the products visually and see what they're buying. Fucking modern slavery act.
And I think we've mentioned it in passing a couple of times, but just to round
Darren,
it out, I'm going to hit
I'm
the
not
nail on the head.
surprised. Go on.
Things need a fucking packing list or some idea of what's in the box, because there are certain companies that go, "This isn't included."
What you mean? What are you thinking about with that?
So you know how, like, when you buy
Yeah. Anonymous packaging,
something electrical,
okay,
and it's pictured plugged in, and then on the
yeah,
box it goes chargers not included.
yeah, or the classic one, you buy your fucking your cordless drill, and then it's like
Battery not
12-volt
included.
battery not included. Oh right, okay, so that's another 40 quid then that I've got to spend on
Yeah,
that.
but the thing on the box has the fucking battery in it. On the artwork on the box.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. We've run out of time to talk about it, but you know, do top quality paint jobs sell product, or do they demotivate hobbyists because they go, "Fuck, I'll never paint that well. There's no point in me buying that. I'll never get it to look that good." There's one for the comments down below. Is the paint
Do
it like?
Do Angel Heraldo's paintworks on Infinity boxes give you the ick?
Do they make you want to never pick up a brush again in despair? Right, okay, guys, we're gonna have to call it. It's 10 o'clock. Thank you very much if you were watching along tonight with us, live or later in YouTube land. We greatly appreciate it. Just want to thank everybody over there in the chat, the stars of the show. Thank you very much. If you can only find time to do a single thing, please click the like button. It helps a little bit with the YouTube algorithm, and we greatly appreciate it. With that said, I think we are done for the night, mate. Unless you've got anything else to say.
Are we back next Thursday? Same time, same place at 8 o'clock to talk more wargaming bollocks?
Unless we get a better offer, probably. See you later,
See you
guys.
next week, guys.